Normally when someone comes back from vacation, that's not an accomplishment. But Chris had a rather special vacation where he ran with the bulls in Pamplona, Spain.
A lifelong dream.
And he lived to tell about it. I have a feeling that's all I need to say, and other than we'll be right back. Good night. But
so for some reason, I don't even know where it started, but all my life, my brother and I have always talked about wanting to run with the bulls in Pamplona, Spain. My brother wasn't able to join. He's got a 13-month-old at home, 14-month-old.
That needs that dad to come home.
Exactly. And whether or not we would be coming home was up for question. So some friends and I decided to go to celebrate our 30th birthdays. We all had a bunch of birthdays within a few months of each other. And we went to Pamplona. We got in, and it is so cool just walking around the town because the way you picture everything to look with everybody wearing all white with the red sash and the red bandana is how everybody looks. And it just adds so much to the atmosphere. And that place is a constant party, literally all day. And it's like Vegas and New Orleans on Mardi Gras combined. It was a wild scene.
Okay, I want to ask some questions.
Yeah.
So I don't want you to get ahead of yourself because you did send us some pictures. The day before, you had the outfits on.
Yeah.
Are they mandatory? Do you have to go buy them? Is it like Wimbledon? You have to wear all whites if you're a participant? And second, you did a scouting day. You told us, too, when you were dressed up.
So you don't have to, there's no set outfit. And especially if you're running, the only mandatory thing is that you be 18, you not be drunk, and you have appropriate running shoes. So
in that order.
Exactly. But you want to be part of the atmosphere. So all these shops are all selling white shirts and red bandanas and red sashes, so you can get it anywhere, white pants. So we all went and bought it. Some people had white jeans, or white pants, they needed the white shirt or whatever.
Is the white recommended because of something with the bulls? Or?
No, it's just the tradition, because it's the Fiesta de San Fermin, which is a big religious festival. And it's the same dates every year. It's July 6th through 14th, with the runnings starting on the 7th, the first day of the bullfight, which is the whole purpose of the running, which we can get to a little bit later. But we get there, we buy our outfits, we go back to our apartment to change, and we're there to check everything out. But I was super excited beforehand, like really excited. My buddy Austin was super nervous for like the last 3 months leading up to this. And then Cameron and Jack Brown, our friends that went with us that are from here in Austin as well, they were just excited the whole time. But then the day I got there, it started to hit me like, oh God, what am I doing? So I started to get nervous, but we had the plan all along. We're gonna go and we're gonna scout the route. It's a half-mile route from this pen where they hold the bulls to the bull ring, and that's where the run ends. It's a half-mile route. The bulls run it on average about 2.5 minutes. So they're flying, and a good run is only a matter of a few seconds, but we walk the course. The first part is straight uphill. It's a pretty steep gradient, and the bulls are just gonna fly right past you. That's pretty dangerous. You don't wanna do the end going into the arena because it bottlenecks in, and that's where a lot of people have gotten hurt. Some of the deaths have not even been from gorings or being trampled. They've been from pileups and people suffocating to death. And then you don't want to do Dead Man's Corner because
of the name.
Exactly. And that's a hard right turn that leads to like the final straightaway before it turns into the bull ring. So we found this area that was relatively flat, looked pretty wide open, and it's town hall. Afterwards, talking to everybody, we learned that 2 people have died in the town hall area, and there are 2 gorings this year, and the second of which was on the second to last day, and that happened in town hall on the right, which is where I ended up in my run.
All right, so you put some Twitter video out, and a lot of it, because as you say, the bulls go by and it's pretty quick.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the lead up, and it's like a jump around.
Yeah.
Is that involuntary or?
Yeah, I didn't even know I was doing it. So you get there, and we wanted to be on the course pretty early. The run is at 8 in the morning. So we were out there like 6:45, 7 o'clock, and we walked down, we get to our spots. The girls decided, Katie Ritter and Amanda Brown, Ritter-Reese decided to not do it morning of. They got scared, and they decided to be smart and not run with the bulls. So Cameron, Jack, Austin, and I, we go down and they do a prayer at this little statue set up of Saint Fermin, for whom the whole entire festival is. So we go down there, and we were the only ones who didn't know the prayer. But it was one of the traditions too is you have a rolled up newspaper, and the prayer starts. It's like a 15-second chant, and everybody's just going like this with the newspaper, and then it stops, and then everybody gets serious. So you see people start to disperse. You see the locals who really know what they're doing. They start like doing their little jog and jump up and down. And then you get to your spot, and the church bells start ringing at the top of the hour like they would any other hour. But it's really ominous when you hear that. And then they fire a cannon when they open the gate, and then they fire a second cannon once all the bulls are out of the pen. And you're there, and you're just jumping up and down in anticipation and excitement and total nerves. And talking with the guys, our game plan was, don't look at the people, because they're cameramen, photographers. It's a live broadcast, tons of video streams of it, and a ton of still photographers. And all the research that everybody did said, wait to run once the cameras start to turn, because they're following the bulls the entire time. So that's what I was trying to do. And I'm in the middle of because in my head, I'm like, I want to be in front. I want to be right in front of the bulls, running as fast and as long as I can. And I'm jumping up and down, and the guys are a little more off to the side in the near fence. And people start running past me. And I'll never be cooler in my life than when I'm just jumping up and down and people are running past me. But then a huge surge of people come running. And in my head, I figure, well, now seems like a good time to start running. So I start going. Austin, Jack, and Cameron wait like 4 or 5 seconds more till they actually see the bulls. So the bulls are right on them. But when I start running and you lose track of everybody, I had to hurdle a couple of people who would trip, and you can't run that fast because there are so many people on the course. So I had to hurdle a couple people, I had to run around some other people, and then once the bulls actually came, I just kind of like threw myself against a bunch of people on the fence, and I look over, and there are these bulls, and it's 6 bulls that are going to be in the bullfight later that day, and then like I think 4 or 6 steers that look like longhorns running alongside them, guiding them. So they pass, and then it's like this giant relief. You take a big breath, and then I just jog the rest of the way into the bullfight ring, where then it's a whole other scene where they let out a baby bull who has its horns taped up, and then you're just kind of in there playing with the bull, trying to not get trampled. Cameron did it a second time on the day after we ran, and he ended up getting trampled, but he said it was an awesome experience. Everyone, it was just a total trip. It was awesome.
That's it.
That's all I got.
That is a little bit more than the score.